In this next course here, we're going to deep dive into the initiating and process group. Introduction to the initiating process group. The initiating process group involves the project scope, goals, and objective, and identifying stakeholders. It's also creating the project charter and developing a high level project plan. When you have the scope, you understand what the objective is that you want to get after. After that, what are the goals? What are the goals of the client? What they want to be able to do with whatever software that they're trying to create. Secondly, though, too, then you have your objectives of what exactly do you want to apply to getting to where the end goal and meeting the scope criteria. So in the software world, we call that the definition of done. And then, of course, lastly is identifying the stakeholders. And when that stakeholder can be anybody, it could be you, it could be the product owner, the project sponsor. And we'll go over these terms and definitions in a minute. Okay, key process in initiating the group, develop the project charter to define the project's vision, identify stakeholders and their interests, expectations, and potential impact on the project, and conduct a feasibility study to assess the project's viability. As a project manager, you want to be able to define exactly what the vision of that owner and the client, whoever's coming to the company, to be able to say, hey, this is what we want to be able to accomplish, and we want to do X, Y, and Z. And in our example for the Tasker app, that's what it is. Someone wants to come to us, say, hey, I want to create a mobile app that allows me to be able to have tasks that I can assign and then be able to mark it down and then provide it to an overview of everybody that can be able to reach out to it. Identifying the stakeholders. When you're identifying stakeholders, that's the project owner who ultimately is the company, and the project sponsor who's the one that's actually investing the money and putting that money towards the project. But you have what we call is a stakeholder engagement. That's going to provide you an idea of, okay, do they need to have information? How often they need it? Do they want it through email, phone calls, or through other subtypes of other mediums? And then, of course, conducting the feasibility study. This is just for us to be able to say, okay, this is your competition out here. This is what's available. This is how much money that you can make based on this project. Develop the project charter. The project charter includes the project's purpose, stakeholder scope, objectives, risk, and high-level timelines. These elements guide the project. After we get all the high-level information, it's up to us to be able to provide this to the project sponsor, who is the client, and be able to say, hey, do you approve of this? And then from there, we pretty much go forward and we create the project and the product. Okay, identify stakeholders. Identify stakeholders is a critical step in project management. Develop a stakeholder identification plan to identify and prioritize stakeholders. As I mentioned, you're going to have people that you need to contact all the time versus people that just want to have a high level overview. And that's where you identify those stakeholders. Next up, input tools, techniques, and outputs. Inputs include the project charter, stakeholder register, and other organizational process assets. We're going to go through in our systems, and you're going to see these documentations that need to be involved in every single project that we do. Tools and techniques include expert judgment, which is going to be your team of developer that you're going to be able to talk to, saying, okay, hey, this is what we need to do in order for this to happen. As a project manager, you're not making those expert judgment decisions. Those are going to be the team members that are underneath you to make those decisions. Project selection methods and develop project charter. Your goal is to, okay, I need to take a waterfall approach versus I need to take an agile approach. And we're going to learn a little more about those two in a little bit. And then outputs of the project charter and the stakeholder register. This was a quick demonstration. We're going to go more into depth as we go into our Tasker app demo. And that way you can see exactly from start to finish what we're looking for.